It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Well, good morning, South Mississippi. It is a really nice Friday morning. This is Meteorologist Aaron Colby here, filling in for Wesley today, and it's going to be a really nice day out there. We've got those clear skies already as of right now, and most of us are actually going to be seeing a little bit warmer than yesterday. Of course, we woke up just slightly warmer than yesterday. Many of us in the low 50s this morning. And as we go into the afternoon, most of us will be right around or just above 80 degrees. So just a hair warmer than what we saw throughout the day yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Hancock Whitney camera over in Gulfport. There's the data for the Gulfport Airport right now as of 8:32 a.m. 55 degrees with a wind out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. Dew point in the 40s and slowly rising, and we're going to see these winds turn out towards the east, or out of the east I should say, and then eventually out of the southeast. So we will start to see that humidity start to rise as we go into your afternoon and especially into the evening hours. Overall, just to recap today's forecast to get it on screen for you there. Mostly clear skies, no chance of rain today. Maybe a few clouds start to work their way into the area as we go into this evening with just a little bit more humidity arriving. Winds will be pretty breezy as we head into the evening hours, though. Most of us will see those winds increase to about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it definitely could get a little gusty out there. That's going to continue to increase as we head into tomorrow. So let's talk about that weekend forecast. It's going to be a pretty mixed bag of a weekend. We're going to start Saturday morning off nice and clear, but we're going to start to increase that cloud cover and that humidity throughout the day. Very breezy winds out of the southeast will be possible throughout the day. So if you can today, make sure you go ahead, bring in any small items in your patio, backyard. Make sure anything that can be blown away is nice and secure. Tomorrow, winds will be very breezy, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Gusts could go as high as 20 to 30 miles per hour, and that'll be increasing throughout the day. Saturday, I've got some information on that here in just a little bit. As we move into Sunday, that is kind of a question mark at the moment. We have several forecast models kind of putting out slightly different scenarios, and I'm going to kind of run you through the one that I do see or feel is the most accurate. And, well, as of right now, what we can say for sure is that there's a good chance we will see some showers and possibly some thunderstorms during the morning hours on Sunday, some of which could become strong or severe. So kind of like what we had last Sunday, I do think there is a chance, a slightly higher chance that we do get some of those stronger storms when compared to last Sunday. But I'll be right back to that here in just a little bit. Now, before we keep going forward, I'm going to kind of run you through the basic setup here. What we have is an approaching cyclone or a storm system. And this is kind of made up of several different moving parts. Of course, you have your low pressure system, your two fronts, and overall, you get these kind of systems to develop in this way. And let me zoom that out for you just a little bit here. You'll notice that, especially looking at this a little bit more broad picture here, in general, you can break up mid-latitude cyclones into three different parts: cool, cold, and warm. And as the cool part moves through, which will be, this is what is approaching on Saturday, will be in the cool part of the cyclone. And we'll have those winds mainly out of the east or out of the southeast, a little breezy at times, maybe some light to moderate rain, a couple showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. Then we go into Sunday morning, and that's when we kind of transition. That warm front is going to push further inland. We're going to transition into that warm sector. That's where we get some of those stronger storms to be possible. Now, not everywhere inside the sector obviously has these storms going on, but they're isolated, they're hit or miss, and only some of them get strong or severe. So and kind of like what we saw last weekend. Within the warm sector, typically we could see the threats for tornadoes, gusty winds inside of some of those storms, maybe some hail, but in general, no, we're looking at a scattered to isolated storm event, some of which could become strong. And of course, you have your third one, that's everyone's favorite, the cold sector. That's where you get that dry air, very cool, that breeze out of the north. Things feel great for a couple days once you get back behind that cold front where the cold sector is located. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on back over to the forecast. Let's go into tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to save this right here in case we need to go back to that. Let's put our camera right there. Come on. Perfect. I'm going to save that, and we're going to exit. And so with that in mind, let's go ahead and start running through the weekend forecast. Let's go ahead and begin with what's happening out there right now. And you're going to see kind of those different elements start to come together here as we move forward in the forecast. Of course, today and tomorrow, think of us in that cool sector, winds generally out of the east, humidity slowly rising. We get into about Saturday morning, very early Saturday morning. That's when that warm front may start to approach from the west. Not quite to us yet, but the potential for maybe a few showers, a few isolated storms. Those winds starting to accelerate there as the warm front approaches. Winds very gusty Saturday morning, and even gustier as we head into Saturday afternoon and evening. At this point, this is Saturday night, we have now moved into the warm sector. The chance for rain starts to go up. Those winds now out of the southeast and much stronger, much gustier. That's where those much stronger gusts could start to take hold, around 25 to 35 miles per hour in terms of wind gusts. So definitely a very breezy end to your Saturday. The chance for rain really starting to rise at that point. Then we transition into Sunday morning. That's where the severe weather outlook is going to come into play. The Storm Prediction Center has us at level 1 marginal. That's just level 1 out of 5. And that's for all of South Mississippi and several of our surrounding areas, all the way to about Destin, Florida, and all the way out to Lake Charles, Louisiana, kind of everywhere in between, and about as far north as Jackson, that small bubble as you can see there. Let's go ahead and run through Futurecast. Let's watch that system approach here, and now keep in mind those different sectors that I was talking about. You're going to see how they play out here. Saturday, this first line of storms, let me get my pointer out for you. This that really first line of storms, that's not going to quite make it to us. It's a line of storms racing across Texas that will make it into Louisiana. By the time it gets close to us, you can see it just starts to weaken quite a bit. It kind of loses that energy. The system itself, you can see the low pressure in the front's way back behind it, so it really loses the energy, the support from the system. So we could still see maybe a few scattered showers, a few storms. This is mainly going to be Saturday evening. Watch as that warm front transitions into our area and starts to move north. That's where that chance for rain starts to go back up again. This is early Sunday morning, about excuse me, about 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's where you can really start to see the difference in what those different sectors are doing. Could really very quickly change the forecast for us. If you're north of the warm front, you're going to be in that cooler sector. Light to moderate rain, maybe a few thunderstorms, some of which could produce hail if they become strong enough. South of the warm front, you're back into that warm sector. You've got that more robust, that really steep breeze coming out of the southeast. The winds are going to be stronger. Some of those storms may get a little bit stronger than the ones north of the warm front. You have your potential for maybe an isolated tornado or a stronger storm, but notice how isolated these are. It's not a big solid line of storms moving through. It's kind of these patchy little showers and storms. Only some of them will actually produce these severe weather elements. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Once we go into the rest of the day on Sunday, we start to get close to that cold front. that cold sector does start to move into our area. A few scattered showers will remain possible until that cold front completely passes over South Mississippi, gets us all the way into that cold sector. Let's go ahead and take another look here at the at the severe weather risk for Sunday morning. Now, as these storms continue to pass through, I do think that it's just a very slightly higher risk than what we did see last weekend. The setup just looks a little bit better. That the warm front and cold front are going to be passing much closer together over South Mississippi. So that does give us the potential for at least some of those storms to become a little bit stronger. Definitely not all of them, though. Biggest concerns, if you're south of the warm front, then an isolated tornado or some damaging winds. If you are north of the warm front, then you may get into a little bit more of a small hail, maybe a gusty wind or two, with at least some of the storms out there. So we're going to have to really wait and see. Once again, that was only one version of Futurecast that we looked at. Several others have the warm front further north. Some even have it further south. So we just need to wait and see, wait for the models to continue getting more data today. Those answers will really start to thin themselves out as we go into tomorrow. Now, back behind this system, there's another one on the way, and that one gives us a much stronger cold front. We have a really good chance at seeing a pretty chilly start to your Halloween. If you're looking forward to that colder weather, this might be a good chance for that. Most of us could be waking up in the 40s, along the coast, most likely the 50s, so very similar to the front that we had come through last week, maybe possibly just a little bit cooler than that one. Lots of different events are going to be going on this weekend, so let's kind of run through the two main ones I have here. The Equality Fest over in Biloxi. That's going to be 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Once again, that's on Saturday. A very breezy day. Temperatures in the 70s, so it's going to feel pretty nice out there. Rain chances are going to slowly rise throughout the day, so just keep that in mind if you do plan on staying out there all the way through 5 o'clock. Also, those winds still going to be increasing throughout the day as well. Out of the southeast, gusts could be as high as 20 to 30 miles per hour, even more if you stay out there for the evening. We also have the Jackson County Fair going on. That's going to be all weekend long. Now, once again, the Saturday afternoon and evening, rain chances will start to rise. Sunday morning is when your highest chance of seeing some of those scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. So overall, we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. But things do look pretty good if you do want to head out to the Jackson County Fair. Just keep in mind, once again, Saturday is going to be very breezy. Let's talk about the tropics for a little bit. The good news is there are no concerns for the Gulf. However, we do have Tropical Storm Melissa. This is in the Caribbean. Very, very slow moving. Look at this. East-southeast at 1 mile per hour. This system is crawling through the Atlantic right now as of the 7 a.m. advisory, and it has been dealing with a lot of wind shear. It really hasn't had a chance to strengthen. However, directly in front of it, it's got very low wind shear and very warm waters. That's why there is a concern that this could strengthen very quickly once it gets into those favorable conditions. Now, no concern for us. That's the good news. Of course, you can see wind shear coming out of the Gulf, pushing it, making sure it stays far away. That's going to be really good for us. That's going to be really bad for the Caribbean. This means it really doesn't have anywhere to go, so it's going to stay there for several days. You can see that reflected here on the cone. The National Hurricane Center does expect this to quickly strengthen to a major hurricane and very slowly make its way around the island of Jamaica. That being said, Jamaica and Cuba need to be paying very close attention to this. A storm getting that strong and moving that slow can pose many different threats. So if you even have travel plans down to Florida or Cuba, just make sure you are paying very close attention to the forecast. These very slow moving storms tend to be a little erratic as well in terms of the timing of impacts. So especially Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, and maybe the southern parts of Florida want to continue to keep a very close eye on this. once again, the Gulf, we are all good. Too much wind shear for it to make that turn all the way to the north. So we are going to be safe from Melissa. 7-day forecast here in South Mississippi. Let's turn back to the Gulf Coast. Things are going to be really nice as we head into next week. Now, today, fantastic weather, very similar to what we saw yesterday. And now Saturday and Sunday, the higher rain chances. Saturday, a very breezy day out there. Saturday afternoon and evening, some rain chances will start to rise. Sunday, mainly in the morning, is when we're seeing those showers and storms move through. That may linger into the midday or early afternoon hours. Once again, some of these storms could become strong or severe, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. We're still fine-tuning the details of that forecast. Going into the week, things look really nice out there. We'll go right back to fall. Hey, look at Thursday. That's when that next cold front arrives. Around the middle of the week. Look at that. We have a really good chance at seeing those afternoon temperatures struggle to break 70 degrees. That's going to feel fantastic towards the end of next week and into next weekend. But for now, here's a more close-up look at the 7-day forecast if you need it. Overall, a pretty good forecast across the area. Not much to complain about. We'll just keep a close eye on Sunday morning for the potential for at least a couple strong or severe storms.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.